Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Meta Game Minute.
Hi, Rhett.
Weekly Chaotic Amateurs talk show follow-up. We got to make this real quick for Mr. Dashel over here. A little bit of a Wolf Light episode. You had a couple little inputs and things like that, but where's Wolf at with this? We get back to the chateau. Get a little bit of praise from competition earlier on. This
episode. Wolf was feeling pretty down about himself. He didn't feel like he contributed a whole lot to the victory, but competition saying what he said was like a good reminder that, like, and something Wolf needs to be reminded of every now and then is that, he's not supposed to do everything on his own, and that having people around him is good. Like having people to help him is good. I mean, he was a soldier, so he always forgets that. And since being kind of more of like a freelance warrior after his service, he tends to fall out of the idea that, things get done much faster and efficiently when you have a team with you.
Yeah.
So
you don't have to kill everybody with a wooden board.
Although that does work. I forgot about that. It's a Wolf Light episode because, he's internalizing,
Yeah.
He's thinking inward. And then he had that idea of getting, some followers of Cord to come, maybe train here,
that was great.
Through the guise of being bodyguards.
That was a good idea.
It was a great idea objectively, but through the lens of like Mr. Dead Zephyrus, I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. I need more of you guys around here.
Yeah.
He's going to just claim the chateau eventually.
Yeah, it becomes like a church.
This is now Cord's chateau.
Yeah, it's like freaking.
It becomes my fort. Heavily fortified fort / church.
Chateau de Cord.
Yeah.
The CDC.
Well, Cord's spelled
with a K.
So.
Yeah, you dork.
Well,
you dumb dork head.
You tried.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think let's move on to Rip.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm out, guys. I gotta
Okay,
bounce.
Bye.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mr. Dash. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Sorry. I was going to try and come up with a smoother transition. I was like, well, why? Let's go to
have fun on Tinder.
Yeah. Goodbye. No, wait. Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Bentley.
Yeah.
Riff had some things, had some moments. This is just an RP heavy episode. We got to talk with with the people after the competition, and then move back to the chateau very quickly. Where's Riff at with everything? I mean, that's my question. Because I'm having a hard time even, again, it was a Wolf Light episode. It was a Riff Light episode too. This was very like ball and scory.
Yeah.
I had some riffs.
I'm fine. Like, I mean, I don't, when Milo's got something to go on, I mean, like he doesn't necessarily have that every single episode. So it's like when he has a piece of business in his brain, like obviously, like I just, as a player, like, I mean, I'm obnoxious as a player to listen to because all I do is talk fast and basically kind of do what Ren did, which was just tell the truth about everything or whatever. Like I always liked that characteristic of Ren. But I thought it was funny for story. But I'm more interested in like whatever adventure is next. I'm glad that we kind of got Ball on our side. Like it was interesting to deal with him in the like if you put it out logically to him, like, and he had that moment of like, oh well, fuck, they didn't tell us their names, so maybe they are kind of, and they want to come into our house, and he's just like, yeah, let him in the vault, fuck, and I'm like, no, there's a bunch of shit in there, like, so it's like meet him outside, and then like, and I was kind of happy that Willem was like, was like, oh, get that shit out of here, and I really did. I wrote it down in my phone, and because like when I heard that thing about the spiders, I was like, Oh, I'm figuring out Alex's game. I've come across something that's going to blow this podcast wide open. And then he was like, it's nothing. It was probably just a coincidence that you're like a design coincidence that you had just used or something. Or is it? Maybe you're playing Dum Dum over there. I don't know. That you
never know.
I gotta keep all of my secrets.
You've got that light shining off the top of your head there that gives you a little angel glow, and I don't trust it.
It's a light bulb.
But yeah, I didn't really have much. Like I said, like when someone really has an idea about something they want to do, obviously I want them to do it. And I got to start the episode and have that fun little moment with like the wizard and the illusionist, illusionary recognizing illusionary. And it was interesting also, I thought it was interesting to hear that like we kind of approach it differently, like it's a different style maybe or something like that.
Yeah, very much.
And so that was kind of cool. And then I was pretty content with everything. Like when I piped up is when I had an idea. Other than that, like I just genuinely listened to, because it's been 3 weeks. I just genuinely enjoyed listening to you guys play and hearing all you guys again. And once again with Riff, like 11-year-old girl, like the most badass ass 11-year-old kid that she knows. And so it's like all of this jibber jabber of paper and contracts and highfalutincy. It's just like point me in the direction and I'll go, and tell me what I need to do. What's my mission on it? Other than that, I'm like, I mean, I'll sit around and plan if we need to. It's for a mission, but like all this other stuff, I'm like, I don't really have much interest in it as a character.
It's funny because you've talked about it a whole lot, but since the last time that we played, I went through Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you were constantly like, think Aang, think this, and even like
Kylo
with your
Ren
tattoos
Aang.
and and I watched Avatar and I was like, oh, I get Riff now. I see. It's just funny how that worked out,
especially like first season Aang.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Aang's like, oh, I want to ride the whatever. I want to ride this animal. I want to ride that animal. I'm going to go to the water and do this. I was like, Riff, it's all Riff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I thought was a fun little thing.
Yeah.
I did personally as a player kind of have a fun time with the first half of the episode, just kind of bullshitting about the paper. I think the from Strummer's point of view, it's like, Strummer is just like a person of action. They live in the woods and all this sort of stuff. And while they're not completely unfamiliar with civilization, it's like, wait a minute, like this gold leaf paper like has that much power over your guys' lives. So you're just going to drop everything you're doing and go like, okay, I guess I don't quite understand that, but like, whatever. Like,
yeah, I love that. That's like
Strummer will understand podcasting. Oh, sorry.
Ball is just all about paper. Paper is everything.
Well, it's because funny. it's because of what happens when they chop you down, bud. Aren't you made of wood?
Yeah. No, he's partially made of wood.
I thought he was like a wood warforged, so it was like
I've got a little bit of wood, but mostly
it's like wood for like muscle and tendons.
Oh, okay.
And then stone and metal plating and
okay. I always just kind of like imagined him as like a sort of like a big war forged with legs, but also kind of built like Gizmo Duck, like just that V that kind of goes out and it's plated or whatever. I don't know if you guys remember Gizmo Duck, but like
not exactly,
just like a wood Gizmo Duck. That's how I always envisioned him. And
I just always kind of imagine like early Ultron from Avengers 2. Like he's like, oh, hey, like comes out and he's like, what up?
I think
that's pretty similar, just in nicer clothes. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny. I tried to have that little like thing with Wolf when he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got a Chords emblem here." And I was like, "Just fucking put it on paper, you dick!" Nobody laughed at it. I thought it was genius.
No, I loved it.
I liked it.
It was an average callback.
Yeah, like next level, bro. Level. Top tier, top shelf. Yeah, this was a fun episode for me, just in terms of role playing, because like Zephyrus is so used to kind of like manipulating things, even if people have like very just reason of being like, well, this is where I think we should go. Zephyrus is always like, well, exactly, this is exactly what I wanted y'all to do, because
now you've come around to my point.
Right, exactly.
That was something I was grateful for, is I didn't have to fight Zephyrus over whether or not we were going to keep the fucking paper.
I totally was thinking that the whole time. I was like, fuck, I kind of missing something here. But it's kind of nice to be able to like sit back And Bentley pointed out like how Ball has had kind of a couple more like leadership opportunities, a couple more opportunities to like lead the scene a little bit. And I was like, man, it's kind of nice because, you know, Bentley was saying like, oh, I'm this way. Well, I was thinking like, yeah, Bentley's that way, Dash is that way, and I'm that way. Like we're the three, like, you know, people always trying to like vie for the spotlight a little bit. And so it's been kind of nice that we've all had a little bit of an opportunity to like sit back and let other characters and other players like shine.
But I do always try to find like a little moment like I did with the spiders where I can bust in with like my little kid, like ADD type stuff where I'm like, oh, hey, but what about this stuff? All right, never mind. And or maybe sometimes it's led to stuff, but like, you know, I always try to have a moment like that because I just assume, I mean, that's just me. That was just me as a little kid. Like I'd pop in and be like, are we doing that? No. Okay. I'll go back to playing.
I don't feel like any of it is like inorganic, you know, it all feels like very true to character, but you know, leave it to us three to like come up with characters that always kind of have something to say or add or think or whatever. Caleb Scory, real interested in the little clues that you left at the chateau when you took off.
Some of it's paying off.
And then building your fire to contact Sirius Black by yourself.
Yeah. I'm glad too that the books came around because that was like something I was like, because I too listened to all the episodes that were out and I was like, oh, the books. You promised the creature that you would like take care of the books for him, you know? And I was like, is he going to follow through on that? Is he going to abandon
I've been
that?
struggling trying to decide what I should be doing. Like, I feel like there's something that I'm missing in the books that, you know, you can't help but feel like I need to do an investigation check on each one of those books.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that came back up. Like,
see if there are secret pages written in urine that you need to put behind.
I need to hold it up to a candle or something. But I don't know. So I'm reluctant to just get rid of them. But at the same time, I know that there is some sort of D&D clock ticking where if I don't accomplish this, something's gonna happen.
You get rid of them, and then Alex is like, cutscene. Now all this magic, and you're like, no.
I think the bigger mystery isn't so much like what's in the books, but like why exactly. I mean, obviously, what's in the books help, but like, why exactly does this being like
need it gone?
You need it gone.
Yeah,
and it's like that's so crazy. When I was listening back to the episode, seeing how many threads are still available for us to start tugging on.
Yeah,
and like this is full, Adam. There's like so many. Like that's what this episode was.
Many. There's so many threads. And like that's part of why I really like, not to keep bringing it back to me, but that's part of why I really lament like Zephyrus like being gone, is like just how many like there was a lot of threads for Zephyrus to pull on, and now there's, you know, those are on hold, which is fine, but like,
and if you didn't tell us about them, then
right, exactly, and there's just so much like, you know, I'm glad that like Eben and Willem are like kind of still in the game because those two characters are like central to like Zephyrus in a way.
Yeah.
But, like the books, the library, the knowledge, like the Black Wolf, like all of these things that are like
I thought
really central to Scory right now are like
that.
Those were the big burning ones that I had when I was re-listening. I was like, what is that?
I thought the what was it, like the mage guy that was taking our Kenku story notes or whatever, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought his reaction was really interesting to all of the information he was giving, and then like when we kept like piling on about all that stuff, and then he heard about the dagger, and then he's like, oh, we're just gonna come to your house now because
I'm a little
that's
nervous.
where it turns serious.
like I find that all very interesting because and then hey, Alex, you've really gotten a hang of this cliffhanger podcast game because you gave us baby Strix, likely, you know, likely Gollum possessed by the ring, sitting outside, just hearing that call going, let me in.
Let me in.
Strix, open the vault and let me out, baby. I'm surprised you didn't say like we look at Strix's hands and it's like his fingernails are gone and his hands are bloody.
Like,
and
yeah,
crap like
he's
that.
got bloody stumps.
I was thinking about that. I didn't want to go too hard on Strix, basically.
Yeah, he's a sweet little
Especially
guy.
now that we have a physical manifestation in Enret's baby.
That's right.
Yeah, I know. God, that was cute. Before we jump to ball, Caleb, is there anything else you want to talk about with Scory?
I just that I'm nervous about these two visitors that might pop up in the middle of the night when we're all sleeping.
Yeah.
For an evil dagger.
Right.
So I said meet him outside, bro.
Hey, also one thread kind of related to this information thing that I keep forgetting is that like Zephyr still has that like cool item on him that can help you find werewolves. Anyway,
Also, I want to figure out how to get I want to figure out the goddamn password to our fucking teleportation circle so we can get back.
oh, to come back, yeah.
So we don't have to fucking take goddamn 2 hours to get back to our house every time.
Chumps.
Oh yeah.
You over there with that fucking evil knife, Alex? I just saw that shit.
I know, yeah. He pulled it out earlier too. I was like, oh hell yeah. Yeah, it looks like the Klingon daggers. That's why I was like so proud of my Klingon dictionary. I was like, fuck yeah. But let's go to ball.
Yeah, you fucking killed it this episode, bud.
Last but never least, yeah, I'm literally like, you talked about this last time, like how ball is kind of like sort of gravitating towards this like sort of leadership position. And what's like really fun this episode is like not just battle, like you were talking about. Like this was like role playing, storyline, podcast, kind of like leadership position. You had some clear thoughts of like where we should go, what we should do, who we should talk to. And there wasn't anybody standing in your way. Like we're all just sort of like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's see what's up. What's Ball's thoughts on all this? Where's Ball at?
Yeah, I've been looking at getting that piece of paper for quite a while because I really wanted to go and meet with this Tiernan guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just something I knew was gonna be an issue when we were dealing with Zephyrus and him wanting to like sell it and stuff. So I'm glad Zephyrus is gone, so I don't have to fight him for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been on my radar for a really long time, so I'm glad we got that. And I definitely made sure that I put it in my pack, so I wanted to have it. Talking to the guys from Usama was really important because I wanted to learn more about that portal so that we could maybe find out more information about how to get back Zephyrus or just what it is about. I mean, it's really close to our base and stuff. I don't know. That was fun. I think it really speaks to Ball's character and stuff a lot. Like a lot of those conversations. I love the interaction with your character, Rhett. It was something about research and knowledge.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down. Research doesn't need a invitation.
Yeah,
Knowledge
right.
doesn't need an invitation.
Yeah.
Great
I thought that was
line.
great.
Yeah.
That was
I was
awesome.
like, oh wow, that's so Ball.
It was a great line, but also I'm like, those things are absolutely true. But motherfuckers coming into a house that we don't know definitely need an invitation.
Well, all I could think during that whole
that's
thing,
what I was saying
like,
earlier. Like, I'm glad we got to that point.
Right.
Like, we
like,
figured
this
out
is
a
probably
way
like way too 2020 or whatever, but you're saying that I was like, geez, like what are we all colonizers right now? Like just like moving in, stealing and accumulating knowledge in our museums and all this, which hey, I'm all for with it in the context of the game, but I loved that line. That was so legit.
That was
Scory has taken over that fireplace.
Yeah.
Secretly, the upper left west wing fireplace.
Yep, it's mine now.
Yeah.
No, but that was an awesome conversation. And like when you said that, that's why like when this episode comes out, because we're probably 15 weeks away from it or something like that at this point, like at least 3 months away from this recording. It was such a cool sentence because I couldn't fight with it. You were saying these things. I was like, but stranger danger in the house.
I think Strummer might have said something, and I was like, I don't even know why I bothered because like, it was such a good like. It's like there's nothing I can say to refute. It's like, all right, yeah,
but
true.
I think that's been one of your shining moments in the last 30. I think 35 or 30. I don't know ahead of time what. I think it's 35 or 36, but that's a shining moment for Ball and stuff. Is and that was
last
awesome,
episode is 35. So
I feel like that really
last one's
captures
36.
his character and who he is too.
That's
It
whatever
felt like
portrait of Ball there is. That's the line that goes underneath it.
Right. Like I think so many of us have already had those like one-liners that like define the character. Like that was Balls. Like that was so legit. I
was really happy when that came out. I didn't have it planned or anything. It just kind of came out, but it was perfect. All the stuff with Willem. I don't know. There's just so many things that I want to take a swing at, and I want to try to understand. Like Alex has created like all of these different things and this whole world and all of these parts, and if I'm being honest, I feel really restricted by having to do this in hour blocks. It's
sure.
There's like so many things that I want to talk about and so many things that I want to investigate, but I know it's not going to be super interesting to listen to. So I kind of avoid talking about some of it sometimes.
Yes
like,
and no.
The armor. I've been wanting to put that armor on.
Yes.
Like since I got it, basically, but it's like there's just not the right time. Not the right time. Not the right time.
We might have to come up with a way to like streamline like off time activities for our characters.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot.
Because it's like we could talk about that off the air, but that's one thing I was thinking like with the armor thing is because there's so many interesting things that I want to listen to that you're right might not make the best radio like on a week to week basis. Especially like that's a real hard thing is like everybody listening, like we're doing all of these episodes like since quarantine started, like since we've been switching it up, instead of doing our usual like 4-hour block, 5-hour block, like we've been doing 2-hour blocks. Like we show up.
It'd be 3 if we started on time.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, we don't meet for 3 weeks and we want to BS for a while. I mean,
right? Yeah.
Right.
That's like a real hard thing to overcome. Is like I see all your faces on the Zoom call. I'm like, there's so much to talk about and BS about, and that's what's really hard. Is like we get in, and I think we all really noticed it when we did that one Sunday session. Remember where we did 3 episodes. And we all like, I think like really opened up and really like found our stride for that session.
And they were like an hour plus the metagame minute. So like it was an actual really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you really kind of, and that's the hard part is like, we get into this and I think it takes us all an episode to kind of find our stride. Then we get into it and then we're done,
Yeah.
And which is no big deal. I'm glad that we get a plan. Like I told everybody before, it's like, I think I was really needing these get-togethers for my mental health, and so like when we go without it for 3 weeks, I'm like, oh, God, why? So I'm happy no matter what, but I do kind of think that the shorter sessions inhibit our ability to grab onto some of these threads because we're all thinking about, okay, well, we're done at this time, so why would we waste time then going down this road or going down that road? Like things. So,
and I think this one too, because it'd been so long, like we just kind of
exactly. Yeah.
I like the first episode 35 when we were back. I was like, we were all kind of like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Alex, did I throw you for a loop with the spider thing, or is it really just nothing?
I mean, here's the thing. There's some mysteries I don't know the answer to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have put a spotlight on one of those.
Oh, I made a connection that you hadn't really
You're
thought
like,
of.
wait a second.
Why
But
is
wait.
Spider Tap?
Yeah.
Okay, so now
This is why
spiders?
D&D is the best collaborative
So I got the gears turning for you
storytelling.
on some.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
there's certain reasons why that tavern is called what it is.
Yeah.
And so now I've got to think of those things. I mean, so many things in this world have come from, things that the players have done, that my players have done. Like the Order of the Silver Crescent that Strummer's part of is a way that I helped Milo's character get saved. And so that's baked into the world now because it always was.
Yeah.
It always existed.
Interesting.
You didn't know it existed yet.
Exactly. I didn't know it existed yet.
Alex, you were going to say something before that?
Oh, I'm excited because you're talking about all these threads and a lot of these threads you're not going to pick up on. And
let's ask our obligatory question, Alex. How are we playing your game?
Yeah.
You are a couple points behind, so pick it up.
We'll catch up.
I think we're going to transition into the wastes and what's going to go on down there, which is a whole new kind of. I think it will be a change of pace, and depending on if you guys survive and are able to come back to the Chateau de Magnus, I think that might provide some kind of clarity and focus on which threads you actually are interested in.
That kind of
is what I'm kind of hoping for.
That kind of segues into a question that I really wanted to ask when all of us were here, but I'm going to ask it without Dash here. Is how many of you guys, and me and Alex, we've obviously talked about this and we've obviously settled on a conclusion. But like, how many of you guys think that there's a thread to pull on with like Zephyrus's like body and spirit and all that sort of, like, not a thread to pull on, but like that it is important or not important,
Important, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that will be like a major arc in itself.
Oh
Yeah.
I don't think
I guess we're doing
it's
radio.
something we can do now. I think it's something that we need to find out about, and it's going to take some time. But yeah, it's definitely high priority in my mind.
Yeah, it's a slow burn, but high priority.
In Ball's mind, it's definitely a high priority. He cared about Zephyrus a lot. Zephyrus, brought him to this new place and had a lot of good conversations with him. And
I look at it like, as a player, I'm looking at it and I go, well, we've done multiple things where we've gone to different realities. We were in the floating prison. We were in the floating Kenku thing. And things in both places were just a little bit off gravity-wise, I think. So I'm wondering, and then I hear there's this other dimension, and then Eben said something about like, I forget what it is. It was like, it's essentially, he's over there doing this thing. So you guys got to essentially get this or do this, and then you can blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So I think as a player, I just figured it has to do with, so there's the material plane that we're on, that we're playing in. There's the places that we go, and they're all sort of interconnected, might even be interconnected with how we teleport around, like in the, the teleportation circles, and ultimately might have to do with the monsters in our basement. Maybe they come from that reality, and we have to get them back in through the wormhole type of thing, Ghostbuster style, get them back into the containment unit, that kind of shit. Like, I'm actually really interested in what's in the basement, and
I'm nervous about that.
I'm sure we're all going to die, but like,
I've already done it.
It's cool. It's cool that we're living so close to potentially world-shattering.
Yeah, just downstairs
animals. Yeah,
yeah.
But I'm also interested in like. But then there's the selfish part of me. Like, I'm almost wondering, like, Milo. I don't know if you listened to the very first season, but we did these individual character episodes where it's like, where it was just like, a player and Rhett. Rhett was the DM, so like a player and the DM. So it's like, I was just going to suggest, like, if there's ever an interest, a thread that we might be able to, like what you were talking about, like where you would have a conversation out, instead of having the conversation, go have the game you want to play. And it's like, three of, Alex, Milo, and me hop on a fucking call. I'll record the call, or like, whatever it is.
Or I could do it too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm the keeper. I'm the keeper of the audio.
And fair enough.
And Rhett, you can be there too. We just have to mute ourselves. But I would just be, I would be interested, and you just release it as a special episode, release it. I mean, I know we're already doing 2 episodes a week, but it could be something, extra fun, for people, so they can just have it. It's like, put it out on a Sunday and be like, hey, here's this, and then tomorrow it will affect this, or something like that, or put it out. I don't know how you would necessarily do it. Put it out on a Friday. Put it out on a Friday. You have the weekend. Sure. We're gonna come back, and on Monday, Ball has this sort of knowledge type of thing. Because there's stuff with like Rift that I would like to do, the Treasure of Aether, and that's not necessarily like a group project or something, and that's not necessarily something we're going to get to. And but if we can figure out things that you want to tug out that can come back to the main story, where it's like, hey, so at the end of an episode, Alex says, or you could do it like 4 or 5 weeks in a row, like we did on the old podcast, where it's like, okay, so we all split because we have to get these 5 different items, but only we can get these things. Then we come back together. We each have a separate adventure, really tug at something, have like a nice 2-hour session where it's just you and Alex. So then it's like, you can, because if it's just you and him, you could get a lot accomplished in like 60 to 120 minutes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there may be like at some point like downtime that might happen where there's a few weeks in game that'll happen. It might be interesting to do like one with everybody. Like, what do you do in those weeks?
Well, that's the way we did it in season 1. I really framed it kind of after like Avatar, The Last Airbender, like Tales from Ba Sing Se, where everybody goes off and kind of the camera just sort of follows them. And those actually ended up being some of my favorite episodes. Like, though
there's a lot of neat things, like all those little threads. Like if that's where we pick those up.
Yeah,
don't listen to Yum Horns though.
Dude, Yum Horns was one of my favorites. Like, I almost like cried while we were doing yours for some reason. I just remember like we had this like really intense like role playing scene where I got kind of like teary-eyed myself as like the DM
with when I was talking to that cleric in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, yeah, like it's kind of interesting because we were all kind of new to each other. So like some things didn't quite connect, but like all three of your guys' episodes were like so unique, which was like fun. And to me anyways, like Bentley's episode was weird. Like I listened back to it and it's like, on one hand, I'm kind of embarrassed of the way I DM'd it because like I just totally grabbed control of Bentley's episode. But like, I remember when we were done, Bentley was like, whoa, shit, dude. Like, I feel like I was just like hypnotized. Like he said something like that. And like in real life, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that was awesome.
But to be fair, you didn't grab control of my episode. I wrote out all of the beats for you, and all you did was follow my script, and then we just played.
But I was quiet because
so you kept adding stuff, and you would do little things. You would have your own, like, it's like I just kind of wrote you like a bullet point. This sort of thing happens to this sort of thing. Then we go here and we do this, and then you had like a lot of flavor. So like, but I think that's a valuable thing, Alex. It's in season 1. You can find. I can send you links to them, so you might be able to start planning something like that, where Scory does something with the books, Milo does something with the knife and these folks, and he goes off and solves a mystery. Maybe it's like Riff in the royal brat, like get into an adventure that helps, like we figure out.
That would be so much.
That would be really good.
Like Alex,
that would be so good.
Alex figures out a plot point that we need to get to, so we all split, and then it's like, because that way, we don't necessarily have to all get all together. We could just, because like I said, we got a bunch of episodes. And I know Halloween's coming up soon, so maybe I gotta do the math. So like, if you wanted to very soon, because we're kind of in a spot right now where we're all just kind of.
Oh, dude.
So it's like I got to do the math on it. But if you wanted to get it into like sort of a fun singles October, all of October, there he goes.
Interesting. Yeah.
Fucking the Salem Library over there. He's but that might be a fun way to take it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is like 25 minutes of Metagame in, and we're just talking about planning out our podcast.
I know. No, this is fun. I'm actually glad that people could have this. So,
our gift to you.
Fuck it.
Our gift to you. You may know what's coming up.
Yeah, fuck it. Welcome aboard, bitches.
Welcome to the Metagame Minute.
They're taking the time to listen this far. They might as well know what's coming up.
Yeah. At this point, episode
podcast, motherfuckers.
At this point of recording, episode 22 or 23 came out this week. And that was like our longest Metagame Minute yet. It was like 25 minutes. And I think this one beats it.
And we kept talking about it. I was like, there's no way this is the longest. No, it is. So anyway, we just topped that. So I'm pretty sure this is like 35 minutes. So anyway.
But Alex, is that something that like you're into? Like that sort of idea?
Yeah. No, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Because there's
character
definitely
themed
the format
episodes.
of it being an hour long, limits kind of how many stories we can tell. If we can densely pack 1v1 some stories, I think that would be really good. Because they're, as long as we would
have been nice to have Zephyr Slide for this, but hey, whatever.
Well, I mean,
the 4-hour episode.
Something else going on.
What if he has one in whatever plane he's in right now?
Yeah, I have been thinking about that as well.
Oh.
Everybody.
I mean, no, Chimchala has.
Yeah.
Oh, true,
everybody said that.
Yeah.
Even Eben said it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and Eben said it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Eben told him where you are.
Yeah.
Even one that shows you being bound, like
in the center of a great maelstrom.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot, but we can talk about this later off the air. We don't need to spoil anything. What?
What's the matter? Are we taking too long?
I have to pee. I don't know about you guys. I got pissed like a Japanese racehorse. I mean, I can keep going. What, you guys want to do an hour-long Metagame Minute?
I don't care.
Wrap it up, Rhett.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for sticking with us. Extraordinarily long record Metagame Minute. They used to be 5-10 minutes long. Fuck that. We're doing whatever we want now. It's free on Thursdays.
We missed each other.
We did. Thank you, Caleb. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
I do miss you guys. I hope you all miss us too, because we certainly miss you when we take 3 weeks, a little break. So come back on Monday, figure out what we're going to do after we get our rest in, and figure out the direction we're going to go. Maybe interact with these university goons and all that. We'll be back on Monday. Until then, guys, grab your swords and keep on adventuring.